Alrighty, hey guys, what's going on? It's Blaze here coming at you with a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Protection Paladin, take an early preview and everything that's changed with the recent build in the beta. We'll be taking a look at utility, how good they are against other tanks, how well they hold up, and what changes I would like to see in the future beta builds regarding their talent tree, and also some things I would like to see changed about the base toolkit that the Protection Paladin has. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. First off, we're going to be talking about the talent tree and kind of pathing issues that I see and some of those things that I would like to see changed. Alright, so let's get right into it here. Sorry about that. Yeah. So right off the bat, guys, you're going to see a few issues here with the base pathing for the Protection Paladin, and we're going to kind of go over that right now. So on the left-hand side, to give you a base overview, left-hand side is going to be the Avengers Shield build. The right-hand side is going to be your Consecrate Focus build. However, there are a little bit hiccups here and there because we have a Consecrate lasts 50% longer on the left-hand side, which is a little bit weird. I think it should change with this. Hopefully in the future builds this kind of changes, because it does feel really weird that we have, you know, Consecrate over here when everything over here is buffy or Consecrate by a huge amount. Like, this is making it last longer, but this makes it larger. So that's a little bit weird. Maybe we'd like to see that changed. Also, I would love to see Divine Toll kind of swapped to the left-hand side. The reason for that is because Avengers Shield, everything on the left-hand side is buffing Avengers Shield, and this is a Avengers Shield focused talent. So I'm hoping maybe this can get changed over here, or maybe this becomes a pick 2 between Moment of Glory and Divine Toll, possibly. Maybe something they could change. I don't really know what they're planning on doing, but I think that's a little bit of an issue, kind of deciding what pathing to take right now regarding that. Alright. The next biggest thing that I see a problem with the base toolkit of the Protection Paladin compared to other tanks' basic toolkits, and that is going to be the latest change they have just made to Avengers Shield. It has been scrapped to the ground, like rolled over the coals. They poured it into a volcano, and the spell is now dead. Why I mean by all that is because when you click Avengers Shield, it is no longer generating you holy power. You click Divine Toll, it is no longer generating you maximum holy power. It has now become a simple kick and possibly a damage increase. But for your survivability, if you're trying to survive a hard-hitting raid boss, it does not benefit you at all by clicking this spell, especially if you went the right-hand side and kind of got more Consecrate-focused abilities, or maybe even heals. It really does not protect you a single bit. So that is a little bit of concern of mine. I'm hoping they revert that change back to where holy power actually does generate. It actually does generate holy power. That's something I would love to see changed. But as of right now, that is not the case. So I really want to see that change, guys. The other thing I see that I've been seeing going on with Vengeance Demon Hunter is they are putting a lot of work into Vengeance Demon Hunter. The mastery has been changed. Towns are changing. They're fixing the problem with their survivability outside of their demon spikes. Protection Paladin has not seen the generosity and love that Vengeance Demon Hunter has received. What I mean by that is you are still a plastic tank when you step out of your Consecrate. Abilities hit you 8% harder, and that's just base, right? That is your mastery alone. If you are talented into all these things, it is the total damage taken is 18% reduced damage taken. If you're talented into everything that I am talented into, right? So when I step out of this, I am getting trucked to oblivion. So I would personally love to see Blizzard either step away from the mastery and completely rework it, or make Consecrate a talented into protection possibly, or maybe even the general, but preferably maybe they take, maybe this out or something, and they change it to where Consecrate becomes an aura and now moves with you. I think that would have fixed a lot of the problems with kind of this up and squishy, up and down, bouncing up and down kind of survivability that Protection Paladin is going to have in Dragonflight. I mean, it feels terrible. With the low Avenger Shield, with no more generating Holy Power, you are substantially weaker than you were in Shadowlands by losing the Holy Power charge. Especially if you were playing as Carrion and you were just generating non-stop, you know, you were just non-stop generating Holy Power. That is not the case anymore. I mean, yeah, I can show you right now. I mean, you lose all of it. All your survivability is gone, and your ability to back up hill with your Word of Glories, because sometimes you would over-generate, so you could, you know, shield Righteous into Word of Glory super quickly, because you were generating so much Holy Power. That is not the case anymore. And then I know a few people might say, well, you have, you know, Eye of Terror now, which is an AoE 25% reduced damage, but it is still on a minute cooldown. So that is still very rough compared to the constant generating power of the Avenger Shield. So that's another thing I would like to see change as well as it Consecrate. Alright guys, next we're going to kind of talk about how good they are for new players. Should a new player that's transferring over from DPS and healer and going into tanking for Dragonflight, should you be looking at playing Protection Paladin, or maybe you're coming from Final Fantasy and looking for a new, looking for a class to tank as? Stay away from Protection Paladin. It is convoluted. It's difficult because Blizzard's class fantasy of Protection Paladin is to plant and tank, but Sanguine, which is a bloody pool that drops on the ground that heals targets, is an anti-Prot Paladin, as well as a lot of raid encounters they design around are also anti-Prot Paladin. But I mean that is a lot of times you are moving to your next location, and in that next location you have to redrop your Consecrate, otherwise you're getting killed. So regarding that, they are very anti-Prot Paladin based with its current class fantasy. Hopefully we can see that change a little bit with the change to the Master and Consecrate that I'm hoping to see change. But as a new player, I would highly suggest you stay away from Protection Paladin, especially with all the little stuff you're going to have to manage. And in Mythic Plus and in Raid, they are going to expect you as a Protection Paladin to be Hand Freedoming, to be, you know, bopping people, to be spell warding people in Raid. As a Protection Paladin, you are expected to do the utmost. You're expected to heal people when they're low with your Word of Glories if you have a free charge, not to heal yourself. You're expected to do all these different things. And compared to Vengeance Demon Hunter and Brewmaster, you are expected to do so much more on Protection Paladin than you are on those other tanks. Those other tanks are tank and spank, stand there, do your job, don't worry about anyone else. Protection Paladin, you worry about everyone. And if you don't want that responsibility as a new player, I highly suggest you stay away from Protection Paladin. Alright guys, so that's a little input regarding, you know, Protection Paladin for new players. Stay away from it. Completely stay away. Now, we're going to be talking about kind of what Protection Paladin brings compared to the other tanks, and kind of where they sit right now, niche-wise, and kind of where they sit in the Raid/Mythic Plus environment. Like, how good are they comparing-wise? So, real quick, we're going to kind of go over what everyone brings. Vengeance DH, they're going to bring Timberskit Magic debuff. They also bring a new thing, a damage increase with the Rune of Misery. They bring Darkness now, and the Demon Hunter buff with the fire, with the I think it's 3% increased magic damage. Monks are now bringing Avoidance and Mystic Touch, and they also have the most movement in the game. Then Protection Warriors, they are going to bring Rally, and they also bring Banner, Conqueror's Banner, and they bring 20% DR for your entire party revolved around Shield Wall. And obviously we talked about DK in the last video. They are bringing the grips and the AMZs. Now, Protection Paladin, what do we bring that can offset all these Giga Chad tanks, right? Not much. But, however, if you do not have a Holy Paladin in your raid, you do bring a lot. You do bring the Devo that maybe your raid team doesn't have if they don't have a Ret or Holy Paladin, which today's day and age, with how Holy Paladin is the only one with pretty much a raid-wide DR that keeps you alive in most mechanics, most likely you're going to have a Holy Paladin. So that's kind of KEGW for Protection Paladin, alright? But other than that, they bring immunity, which is sometimes really, really good on some fights where maybe the tank dies, you're in a lower-end guild, they're dying, you can kind of clutch up the last, you know, you know, maybe the last 30 seconds of a pull. If it's going to be a 1% wide, you can kind of Divine Shield and maybe hopefully dish out enough damage to kill the boss if the boss is sitting at 0.2%. But that rarely happens. I wouldn't pick a class based off of your 1 in a millionth pulls of you maybe clutching up the raid. I wouldn't worry about that. You do bring B-Res now, which is a pretty big deal for those Protection Paladins that are looking to do Mythic Plus. You do bring a B-Res, kind of like Blood DKs do. So you do bring a B-Res for your group, which I think is a pretty big deal. You bring Cleanse, which is a big deal if there's a lot of diseases for Mythic Plus. In Raid, who cares? Hand of Freedom has been known to be, I mean, Blessing of Freedom, been playing too much Classic. But Blessing of Freedom has been pretty well and pretty decent in raids regarding being able to get out of mechanics. If there is a Rudum or something, it's pretty nice, pretty niche to have. Also, you bring Spell Warding, which I think is the biggest spell that Protection Paladins can bring to the raid team, because you can immune mechanics that would otherwise deal enough damage to the raid, maybe that you don't have a healer cooldown for it, and you can simply just Spell Ward the person who has a mechanic, and now the whole raid team doesn't have to soak them. So regarding those few things, and with them bringing a raid buff, maybe if you don't have it, if your guild doesn't have a Holy Pally, Protection Paladin is very, definitely a good choice regarding raid-wide utility. Now, but compared to the other buffs, if you don't have those buffs, guaranteed they're going to ask you to reroll to Vengeance or Brewmaster, because every raid team is going to want to have those buffs that they bring, okay? So, if you are going to be maining Protection Paladin, guys, if you just love their class fantasy, please have another tank ready if you want to be a main raid take for Mythic raiding. Kind of gear up a second tank just in case, okay? Just in case the tuning isn't quite there for Protection Paladin. Alright, next, Mythic Plus. How good are they in Mythic Plus? Kind of what's their utility there? Obviously, they bring the B-Reses, the same thing they bring for Raid, but they also bring the Giga Chad insane ability to kick everything in the Mythic Plus. Let's say your group is a pure DPS brain. They don't kick anything. They think kicks are a waste. Healers should be able to heal up any missed kick in the game, and that kicks are wasted GCD, and that's an extra Serpent Sting they can get out, or an extra Wild Bomb they can get out, okay? If you have players that you play with and they're like that, then you might want to play Protection Paladin to just simply carry the kicks inside your push group, alright? But, other than that, guys, I think Protection Paladin brings the most kicks out of any tank in the game, with obviously Blinding Light, Avenger's Shield, and Divine Toll. So if that's something you're interested in, carrying your Mythic Plus group of kicks, then I would highly suggest you play Protection Paladin. Alright guys, before we end this video, we're going to go ahead and jump over to the Holy Shield change that has just been made to the talent to kind of balance it out, to keep it in, I guess, in line with probably in the raid, because I'm guessing maybe internal testing they were getting smacked around in the raid a little bit from all the elemental damage that they were taking. So we're going to go ahead and jump over and take a look at that real quick. So here it is, guys. Here's the changes to Holy Shield. This is the talent that you pick as your Protection Paladin. So simply, before, you could block things from behind. Also, you could block periodic spell damage, like something like Mythic Sylvanas, when you're taking tons and tons of passive damage. You could block all that stuff, and apparently you were able to block physical and spell damage combinations, apparently. That wasn't a thing, so Blizzard has changed it to, obviously, if you guys read over it, it allows you block creatures that deal non-physical auto attack damage, which makes sense. We are entering Dragonflight, where we are fighting dragons, a bunch of dragons that are trying to kill us. So hopefully we can block their fiery claws and elemental attacks, which is why Blizzard has made this change, because, you know, Protection Paladins need to be able to fight dragons, and apparently we weren't good at doing that before, so Blizzard has decided to make that change. Hopefully, guys, you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions or comments or interesting ideas that you would like to see for Protection Paladin, please leave them down below in the comments below. And please click that subscribe button for me so you guys can catch the next early tank preview of the next tank that we're going to be doing. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I deeply appreciate it. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen. Till next time. Doses.